so pensive.
It's perfect. It's perfect now.
Oh, great. Good. I can hear you now. Good evening. We start again. Good evening, Arijit. And Arijit, I'd like to thank you first, Arijit Bhattacharyya. Thank you so much for coming on my show, because you are a world-renowned figure. You are a mentor for so many people. And today, your profile is huge. You've got a huge profile. And I'd like to read it out for our viewers. But I must tell you, I really want to thank you a lot, because you have taken the time out. You're such a busy person. Yesterday when I told you, you were an extremely busy person, and today you said, fine, we can do this now. But I'm sorry about the little glitch that's happening. But I need to read out to the viewers about the kind of profile that you have. And you are a very young person. You know, people should not take you that because you hold so many profiles that you're an old person. No, you're a very young person. And the kind of profile that you hold, I'm really proud. And I'm so happy and that you're here today talking to us. There'll be so many people watching you, and I'm sure they'll take home whatever you have to share with us. I'm sure they're going to take home. But for now, I'm going to read out for our viewers who Arijit Bhattacharyya is and what he's all about. Mr. Arijit Bhattacharyya has over 22 years of experience helping startups, entrepreneurs, and governments across the world to solve problems using entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation. Mr. Arijit is an international public speaker and invited as keynote speaker, panelist, and jury member at multiple global events every month, which includes new technology development, future of business, startup events, angel investment forums, etc. Founder and CEO. Now, this is what I love, and this is how I met Arijit actually. He is the founder and CEO of Virtual Infocom, India's one of the first game development and VR app development companies since 1998. Senator India of World Business Angels Investment Forum. Mr. Arijit is a business scalability expert and a finance, technology, and growth consultant focusing on small and medium enterprise, mid-level corporates, and also advising companies on private equity investments in the startup and SME space. He is a creator of 45 plus superheroes and 21 comic characters. This, I was in love with Arijit, in fact, because of this, because when he first started speaking in Infocom, it was when he was speaking about Virtual Infocom, and that is when I met Arijit a couple of years back. Yeah. And he's a TEDx speaker. He's a keynote speaker in several chambers of commerce. He's the founder of I Am Superhero platform this is a platform for kids. I Am Superhero is a platform for kids to make their own superheroes and share to the world. He's the founder of Anim Gaming platform for indie developers to showcase and get funding from global publishers and investors. So if any of you are listening to this, you must watch out for Mr. Arijit. He's the founder of Yoga Training for You, a platform to teach good life, yoga, nutrition, MMA, BJJ, and rehab. He's the founder of Animation Reviews, portal to share news about movies, VFX animation. He's the lead director of Avalu Global Investments Australia, Director Innovation, Supreme Corp Technology Consultancy Company Australia. He's the co-founder of Entrepreneur Face. This Entrepreneur Face actually helps entrepreneurs to start up their business by helping them from the ideation stage to execution. He's a mentor and angel investor. I Am Calcutta, Innovation Park, Naman Capital, Ventures, that's our Ventures, I think, our Ventures. Our Ventures, Megalin UK, Brofus, Ukraine, Faster Capital in Dubai, and MaxCap, China. My goodness, I must do this because that's a whole huge profile. I think this is just probably 50% of what Arijit has asked me to, sent me. I thought I should read out everything because you deserve the best. You are one of the best. You deserve the best, and people deserve to hear you. So very warm welcome, Arijit. Thank you for coming. And the very first
My pleasure.
the very first thing that I'm going to ask you is that entrepreneurs are going through a lot of problems now with the COVID-19. So what do you think is the the situation going to be post COVID-19? There's a lot of problems which have happened to the entrepreneurs. The people have fallen out of their own business, they're taking up something else. So what is your advice?
Okay, let me first tell you something about entrepreneurship. Who is an entrepreneur? Or maybe it's a dilution that happens, at least in India. Just let me know if I'm audible properly. The network is fine.
Absolutely, yes.
Great. So when you look at entrepreneurs and businessmen and traders, these are three different breeds. Often in India, we mix up three of them, and we point out to someone and maybe tell that this guy is an entrepreneur before realizing the fact that maybe he is a trader. He's doing fine in his business. He's doing amazing money. He's making his team proud. He's maybe increasing his business day after day. So a trader is someone who is most probably selling someone else's product. It can be import-export business. It can be within the country. It can be anything, but he is not manufacturing anything. On the other hand, you can have the manufacturers. So the manufacturers can have a business pipeline, and they usually go for traditional way of doing business. So it can be anything. It can be real estate. It can be your car business. It can be a travel business. It can be your art. It can be your culture. Now, how will you differentiate between a businessman and an entrepreneur? I'm telling you this because there's a deep connection between the COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 era. So when you look at a businessman always goes for, initially they go for the profit and the money. I'm so sorry. The profit and the money. But if you look at the structure of entrepreneur, they usually start their own venture by passion. They usually don't look at whether I'll be making money or whether, I can bring it to the global level, or can I become so big that it will become another level of industry. Usually entrepreneurship starts in a very early age. Usually. I mean, that doesn't mean that a person who is aged above 50 cannot be an entrepreneur. He can be. So there are usually in this this time, I think, if I'm defining it right, in 2020 and post 2020, there will be 2-3 different kind of entrepreneurs. One kind of entrepreneurs are those guys who are just passed out of college. Second kind of people would be those guys who will be feeling that, well, fine, my job is lost, so maybe I should earn for myself, right? So until unless he's recruiting some amount of people, I don't define them as entrepreneur, but we can always call them as freelancers. We can call them someone who is earning his or her own bread and butter for him or herself, right? Until unless he has got a team and he has got some amount of employees. The third category is such kind of people who have started it out of passion and they're trying to pursue it day in and day out. So if you look at India, a lot of people are saying that maybe after COVID-19, see the COVID-19 is not over yet, okay? It's going to stay.
Yes.
At least it's going to stay for the next 2 years, right?
Mm.
So before COVID-19, people used to say that, okay, fine, the market is smooth, things are fine, everything is okay. And post COVID-19 in India, the trend started that we'll be losing money, we'll lose business, the recruitment will stop. Well, look at it in a different perspective. When you look at any market situation, it always goes with demand and supply, right? Right now, whatever you are consuming, maybe you're consuming, I'm not sure, maybe you're consuming some food, maybe some amount of juice, or maybe you're purchasing some dress. If you're doing it, everything is right now happening out of stock, okay? Because manufacturing for the last 3 months was not happening. So if you look at agriculture became stock for the last at least 2.5 months. So for new production, if you go through the post COVID-19 era, how long you can sustain yourself with those stocks? You can't. So when the market is open, you need to go for a full-fledged, full-blown improvising of your own productization. So when you go for that, it's called industrialization of products. And on the same front, because of the demand, because stocks are, going off fast. So because of the market demand, you actually have to stick to the production level. When you go for the production level, for sure, your production is going to be double because the demand will be double. If you look at, I'm not sure if I'm addressing a complete vegan audience or maybe a non-veg audience or a veg audience or not. If you look at the vegan food, the production is stopped for the last few months. Now, what will happen if you're looking for some amount of seeds? Maybe you're looking for nuts. So nuts production was actually stopped, but the demand is there. You have to buy nuts. You have to consume it. So if you have to consume it, you have to actually produce it. To produce it, certainly, because demand is increasing, your market will ask you to go for double production. So it's not going to be something like a doomsday kind of stuff, which will happen in post-COVID-19. Actually, you will go for double production. But the challenge is, if you look at the entrepreneurship, the challenge is this is basically a part of industrialization. If you look at the people who are maybe the newcomers in the market, the main challenge for them is how to retain and get their own team players, how to retain them, how to get money from the clients, and how to continue the flow of making money. The challenge, at least with 90% of local entrepreneurs, they feel their employees as their teammates. There is a big difference. If you look at entrepreneurship as a model, team players are those guys who are not at all with you, at least for money. Employees are those people who are there with you for money. If they get, say, 500 rupees hike from some other company, they may leave you. But the team will never ever leave you, at least for the next couple of decades. That's called a team. A company is always growing bigger if you have a right kind of team. Now, how will you define a right kind of team and who are your team players? Sometimes it happens that your co-founder is your team player. It may happen that maybe you met them in a coffee shop, maybe in some college cafe, you became friend, and maybe 2-3 of you think that, okay, fine, let us start some business together, let us grow together. Now that point of understanding grows such a way that you forget a team needs people who have got different level of expertise. What happens when you take, maybe you have started some kind of tech business and you got a couple of guys in your team, maybe some group of friends who feel that, okay, fine, we are a group of engineers, we should start some business. That's how any business starts. That's fine, perfectly fine. But two of the teammates knows technology. What happens when you include third guy who understand finance? That becomes a little bit of perfect team. Okay, when you include someone as another teammate who understands how to do marketing, that becomes 70% perfect team. Now when you get someone on board, remember, these are not at all your employees. Okay, these are all very specific, concentrated teammates who are joining you out of love, out of passion, same dream, same amount of focus. So when you get someone on board who understands and can go for sales, you are done for approximate 90% of making your own team. And you need a guy who is great in public relationships, doing the PR activities, communicating with people, and then talking with them, sending emails, maybe responding in the digital platform, taking care of your social media profiles and all. You get a perfect team. So when you have that, COVID or no COVID, it doesn't matter, you can actually sustain. COVID or no COVID, it doesn't matter. You can actually continue your entrepreneurial life. The challenge that I feel, I'm not sure, Tinath, I can't see you at least in the window. I'm not sure whether you're there or not. So if you are looking at the perspective of a perfect team, the main challenge, at least during this time, is getting money from their own clients. There are multiple number of SaaS startups. There are multiple number of startups who are depending on third party, I should say, income. Well, if they are dependent on somebody else's income, maximum number of business in India is dependent on some third party investment. Now that third party is actually uh, your client. It can be your maybe your investor. It can be your neighbors, whoever it is. Don't define them and treat them as somebody you know. Treat them as a best practice of becoming customer as friend. I'll share a couple of beautiful stuff. Well, I'm sure you guys are using LinkedIn, right? So if you are using LinkedIn as a platform, there are certain number of freshers who usually come and they usually try to send a message to get some new market. And the message statement usually starts like this. If I'm defining with my own example, hey Arijit, you know what? We are such and such company. We are doing such and such things, and we are an HR company. Do you guys need a new recruitment? Well, if you send such kind of text to a very senior level people, you read them as maybe a founder, CEO of X company, and your statement was with hey, and then the name, and then after that, do you guys? So these are all yunky kind of geeky language. To be very honest, it doesn't work in the corporate world. So when you try to do some kind of sales, you need to understand whom you're approaching, how you're approaching. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not talking about the age, but it matters when you're doing a corporate communication. It's not Facebook, right? So when you talk about getting a business line, first you need to understand, can you first initiate that conversation with a different tone, with a different approach, with a very sophisticated English? It cannot be like, hey, you know what? Do you guys need some amount of people? That's not an HR approach. Come on. So from a point of view of a corporate company, if you look at that HR, he will think, oh my God, what kind of HR solution company is this? His statement is like, you guys need some amount of people or not. That means if I recruit people from this company, they'll be trained like this kind of language. I don't need them, right? So initiate those kind of communication again and again. Get someone on board who understands how to speak, how to communicate, your PR guy, right? And then the marketing person who is there in your team, understand how he is going to penetrate the market. The first and foremost thing for him, or maybe for you, if you are that marketing guy, that marketing chap, to understand who is not your customer. It's not about your customer, actually. You need to define a very simple fine line. These people are not my consumer. This state is my target market. Great. This age group is my target market. Amazing. But within that age group, I can't take, okay, I'll give you a live example. Say you want to sell some sweets and you want to penetrate the market of, say, Kerala, okay? Then your selling cost of one particular, say, I'm not sure, maybe it can be 10 rupees per piece. It can be 20 rupees per piece. And you have a sales strategy in your company that you're not going to do the sales for individual sweets. Okay, if you do that, you're not going to make money. That's a strategy. Okay, now you have a strategy that if you make a sales per person basis within a box, which is maybe a sweet box, and it consists of 10 sweets, and you give maybe a price tag of 95 rupees, right? and you are trying to sell it in Kerala, and you say that it is for everyone, right? In your sales pitch, that looks like some amount of fishy stuff, at least for an investor like us. I'll tell you the reason. 95 rupees per box cannot be generalized for everyone in Kerala. I'm just taking one example. It can be Bengal, it can be Delhi, it can be anywhere. It can be Ukraine, it doesn't matter. Okay. So if you are making a statement, my selling price is 95 and I'm going to make a profit margin of maybe 5 to 10% on the top of that, you need to define your customer, whether their purchasing power is 95 rupees per box or not. So you need to understand your customer base maybe starts from a monthly income with 20,000 rupees to 25,000 rupees. Okay, it cannot happen with a person who is earning 3,000 rupees per month. So you cannot define Kerala is my market and I'm going to sell 95 rupees per box and 3,000 rupees monthly income earner will actually buy my sweet box. It cannot happen. Okay, for them it's not a necessary thing. Okay, so that percentage can be 20% of the total population, right? So it's a very important part. Make a pie chart, maybe a normal bar diagram. It can be on your paper, it can be your Excel sheet, doesn't matter. Define those guys and make a statement, maybe within that Excel sheet, that okay, fine, this is going to be my customer acquisition cost. Let me go back to the story again. You defined your sweet box is going to be 95 rupees per box basis. Your thought process is you're going to make money, maybe 10% profit on the top of it. So what will be your customer acquisition cost? So I'm not talking about economics. I'll try to make it simple for everyone. Say for an example, 95, 10% profit means 9 rupees 50 paisa. That's the profit you're going to make. Okay. To sell that sweet, do you need a shop? Do you need an establishment? Or is your model is such that you make a tie-up with the existing shop owner and you became their cloud kitchen and you're supplying your sweets to that particular shop? Is it that's your model? If it is not, you have to maybe establish a shop maybe in your own state. I'm taking example of Assam. Okay, so which area you have that shop? Is it the prime area or it's something in outskirts? If it is in prime area, if you want to sell it for maybe 95 and you are thinking that you are going to earn a 10% profit on the paper, what will be your rent? What will be your electricity cost? What will be the cost of each and every employee who is working inside that shop? Okay, for an example, you have 5 employees and they have a monthly salary of, say, I'm not sure about your economy, but say for example, they are earning 8,000 rupees per month basis. Multiply by 4 people, it becomes your 32,000 rupees per month. That's your barn. Okay, and you have a rent of say 40,000 rupees per month. So add it with the electricity cost, it becomes on an average 1 lakh, which is your burning rate, right? And you're selling sweets. So for a sweet shop, if you're selling it, if the sweet cannot sustain for more than 2 days, so either you have to throw it away or you have to really push that it sells. So how much sell it needs to be done so that you can at least become break even? That's the more important part. Okay, so I usually suggest, if you are a product startup, you are thinking that okay, fine, I'm not going to produce something which is very common. I'll become someone who is selling something niche. I'll take example of one Assam-based startup. They are into tea. They are into flavored tea, colored tea, and organic tea. So their pricing model is different than others. So they decided that we're not going to play a benchmark less than say 700 rupees per kg basis. We'll be in that level always. So for that, it's not about tea. Let me teach you something amazing. It's about the packaging. It's not at all about your tea. It's about the kind of packaging that you're doing, your design, your UX, the experience part, and the consumption level, and how you are doing the marketing. In 2020, I think in June, July, post June, July, forget about taking someone who is a celebrity from the market. Forget about that. Don't take someone who is a celebrity from the market for your ads. Get someone on board who is from local market, looks local, talks local, but got a very nice, beautiful social impact. Maybe in social media, maybe in real life. Okay? Get that fellow on board. Use him as your brand ambassador. The best possible option is get someone on board who is from business industry, maybe an industrialist. It can be anyone. It can be an old guy as well. You know, having a sip with your tea and saying, making a statement that, you know, that this tastes good. I feel amazing. And get someone who is young enough, maybe a heartthrob in the college, maybe a sweet looking lady, and ask her if she can do some amount of video in Instagram for you guys or not. If that happens, this thing nowadays connects people. Forget about old kind of, you know, making ads. Nowadays people do understand you actually don't need celebrities to make something sellable. You need someone on board who looks like local and acts like local, whom you can feel that, oh my god, this is someone from my own neighborhood. I mean, I can connect with, I can relate to, you know. So those things will give you a flexibility of less cost. A. B, market connect. C, he or she may become one of your teammate, may not ask for money. He or she can become a partner into your company with equity sharing. That works in a couple of companies, you know. So if you're a startup and if you're thinking that you will become an entrepreneur, don't ever think like a businessman. So whatever suggestion I'm giving, these are all entrepreneurial, you know, inputs, I should say. Now, when you start something, how you think of starting something which is not there in the market, which is not ever happened in anywhere in India, and you feel that you should grab some amount of investment and you can grow, forget it. It's not going to happen. Okay, whatever you're thinking, it either happened until unless you have a patented technology, or you have some amount of patent which has been applied in US and you got it. Okay, it's already done, number one, or people are not interested. Remember one thing, never ever start your own venture keeping something in mind that somebody will invest in your business and you will grow. It's a bubble, it's already gone, and it's not going to come back again. Okay, investment always happens. That's a small tip. I'm not sure whether you can take it or not. It's a myth that when you need money you should go for it. It's not like that. Honestly speaking, if you're thinking that you need to have some amount of investment, you need to understand what is your stage. Are you in idea stage? B, are you in scale up stage? C, are you in growth stage? D, do you need a market expansion into some other country? You need to run faster. Well, I'll love to quote Iron Man over here. Sometimes it may happen that you need to run rather than, you know, starting walking. Well, those are fine as long as you have the right kind of marketing plan with you. The best possible time to get investment is when you don't need investment. Now you might feel that this guy is telling something which is funny. I mean, you don't need investment, that's the best time. I'll tell you something. You're running your company for maybe last 6 months or maybe last 3 months, and you see that there is a potential growth. You're growing very fast. You're growing in a very decent manner. And you're feeling that I'm doing really, really great. I'm doing amazing. I don't need anybody. But you see, if you go into that pace, what will happen? Maybe your goal is to, you know, become a $7 million company, and right now you're making say 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs as a within 3 months or within 4 months, and you feel that you can achieve it with next 6 years timeline. If you apply for investment, if you start talking now, it will take at least 4 to 6 months to grab a deal. Okay, so your timeline is in total 9 months. Okay, so this total 9 months time, 3 months you have executed, 6 months is the timeline, deal timeline to get money in your company. If you have that and you had understanding that you will grow within next 5 years, if you have this money, your growth will become faster. Okay, so maybe within 2 years, whatever you have thought, it can happen if you get that investment. Now, why do you need investment? Usually investors love to invest money when they see there is a growth and you can give them a very good return. I mean, nobody is here for free lunch. Please understand this. Okay, maybe you feel that there is a term called angel investor. I'm also an angel investor, but somehow I'm not going to invest money where I feel that, okay, fine, I really like this person, so I should invest $1 million. It cannot happen. It never happens. Okay, it only happens if both of us feel that we can learn from each other, A. B, we can do something good together. C, the team that you have is an amazing team, and if I invest this money into bank or maybe some other financial institution, it can happen that I can get a return, but my gut feelings is saying that these guys can give me better return, better flexibility, better understanding, as well as better pleasure from these normal so-called institutions. Then only this investment will happen. So think of it from two different perspectives, table A and table B. So table B is your investor, table A is you. So if somebody is asking you, okay, fine, you have got 10,000 rupees, you're so rich, give it to me. Will you give it to him? No, certainly no. Until unless you understand that whether he needs it or not. If you're giving it for maybe for lease, if it is your friend, that's great. So initially, if you're looking for investment, maybe you can go for your family, you can go for the friends, and there is a third person who is fool. You can go for that as well, but that's not, that's not a very sweet thing to do. So the best possible solution for getting investment are usually making an amazing deck, which can happen within maximum 8 to 10 slides. I'm not going to tell you that there will be experts who can do it better than you. Don't do that. Whatever knowledge you have, use that. So I'll give you some tips how you make 10 slider. Usually from an investment perspective, if you look at a VC fund or maybe a fund manager, they usually love a one pager as an initial pitch deck. That one pager should talk about your business, what you want to do, your team strength, okay, and the kind of return that you can give. So there are three different sweet spots, right? What you do, your team strength, and the ROI. Now, why do you need that team? Remember, I started with the team part. I mean, I'm not talking about the employees part. The main reason is investment, usually 90% investment happens on the team. It doesn't happen on the business. I'll tell you the reason. There is a risk for any business. How easy to replicate your venture? Say for an example, I'm making Tina as a superhero. So how many other cartoonists can replicate her? If that can happen, maybe by 10 other guys. So for her, it's not cool, right? If she is thinking, I'll become a superhero and this fellow is going to make me someone who is amazing, and there are 10 guys, they are also saying that, you know what, hey, I can do that, right? So she'll be confused. So as a customer, if you have this kind of business, which is very common, others can do it, think of the investor. He will also think that, oh my God, it can be done by others. Why you? I mean, why so special? So try to understand your special spot, the sweet spot which is not there with others. It can be a very common business. Don't think that you need to create a rocket. I mean, you don't need to create SpaceX for this. I mean, it's not required. It can be a very common business. It can be a business of maybe a web designing, but how you are executing, that's the challenge. Is your model a volume game, or your model is completely a niche game? If you're playing something niche, be prepared. You have to ask good amount of money from one deal. Make sure the price margin that you have, it actually gives value to your customer. Cracking those kind of deals are really painful. I mean, ask me, I'm from that domain. Okay, we go for always niche. We never ever wanted to become a KPO hub. I mean, there are multiple number of studios in India who are doing artwork for others. We never ever wanted to become that. So we always wanted to become a full-fledged, full-running own individual game development studio who will be producing their own game titles and who will be creating their own mark in the vast world, and they will be creating their own kind of IPs. So whatever path I choose, I'll tell you why we are different than others. So what do? We take a very common, maybe a celebrity, maybe a model, and okay, I'll give you a live example. Say for an example, Srijita. Srijita is a model based out of Calcutta. She was a fresher then, and what we did, we took her as one of the character in one of our title-based game, and we 3D simulated her. 3D simulation means we took her 360-degree picture. I'm talking about around I think 6-7 years back. I really don't remember. So on that time, there was no such studio who can give us such kind of flexible cameras, that setup and everything. So we have to rebuild it by ourselves, I should say, from the scratch. So we built our own studio, brought her in, did that whole 3D shooting, made her as a character. The 3D character, we made it popular inside the game, and slowly started penetrating her character as a comical character, as a superhero character, and slowly took her to the Bollywood industry, introduced her as an actress, and certainly floated her 3D avatar in front of multiple number of producers. So from a producer's point of view, they are getting Srijita one time, I mean within one real time in multiple locations. So for them, choosing her became easy, and she became popular because she became popular in the gaming world, and that gaming world is directly connected with the modeling industry. So we solo created the whole thing, right? So what happens? She started getting orders. She started getting, you can say, works from nowhere, out of blue. I mean, she got a chance in a South Indian based movie. She acted over there, and then certainly she got a call from some Russian producer. They wanted to do a modeling shoot with her. She got a shock. She gave me a call, and she called me as Dada. Like, I treat her as a young sister. She gave me a call that, Dada, what happened? I mean, I'm getting this kind of calls, and people are asking that if I can be that character into their modeling. I said, yeah, that was the purpose. So you see, when you do some kind of venture, when you call yourself as an entrepreneur, I did the same thing. Gaming studios is not a new thing, right? It's a very common one, but the way I execute it was different. So that's what you need to learn. That's what you need to understand. So it is your business. I'm no one to, give you that kind of so-called quote unquote gyan. You should do this or you shouldn't do that. It's your venture. You think.
I have a question. I have a question. I was supposed to be a superhero in one of your gaming sessions, one of your games as well. But then we couldn't take those 3D photographs,
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
that you wanted.
Yes.
And that was one reason why you could execute the whole thing. I think that was one reason why,
Yeah, so we made your 2D character as per my memory goes. It was a violet-based dress with with a
Blue,
sword
it was
in your hand. But to
blue.
become a game character, that requires a complete 3D picturization. Until unless that happens, I mean, we can't make anything. That's
I
the challenge.
still stand a chance, I think. I still stand a
Yes,
chance.
sure. Of course. Of course. Of course. So Tinath, when you was not there, I mean, I was talking a bit about getting customers and how to maybe start things and all. So I'm open for your questions if you have any.
Yeah, no, I was also reading some of your blogs. You're a very good blogger. You're an exceptional writer, and I never miss, the write-ups that you keep giving on social media. And there is one thing I really liked. One of your blogs was where you said self-worth is not the same as net worth. I really like that, and I would like you to, elaborate on that. That was a wonderful thing, and I read it, but I want the viewers to actually get a taste of it.
Sure. Well, I'm not sure whether, again, the target audience, I'm not sure your Facebook target audience. Maybe if your age
These are
is,
entrepreneurs.
it's
They're
okay,
all
it's okay.
yes.
If your age is your maybe your age is less than 30, I'm not sure whether you can get it or not. But honestly speaking, I'll see. Don't mind. I mean, if I'm talking about age, because this thing comes with experience. It may happen that you have maybe you fall in the category of 2025, but you are well experienced enough. You see, when you start any kind of venture or you are doing your own business, people often see the success. People often see that how much money you made in your life. People often treat you as a very different kind of guy, at least in Indian perspective, and they feel that, oh my god, that's your malik, in Hindi. So that's your owner. So owners are always meant to suck blood from the employees. It happens because this fellow, whoever started his or own venture, he never understood the concept of making team. When you have only employees in your organization, it is supposed to happen. They will feel that the owner is earning a lot of money. Now, when you have that kind of feeling, you always feel that I should grow more, I should do more in my life, I should grab some amount of deal, and for that deal, it always happens that you can't sleep at night. So when you try to sleep, you put your head on the pillow, whether the pillow is really really cozy or not, whether you have AC on or not, whether you have five ACs which is running inside your small room or not, you can't sleep. The only reason is you have a hardcore desire to grab more and more and more. You forget what is your limit. You forget that, well, fine, you know what? This is one life, and you really have to have understanding what exactly you want to do in your life. Is it really for earning only money? Does it worth it? Earning only money? Or is it for giving back something to the community for a purpose? Or do you understand whether you have a purpose in your life or not? So when you have all those kind of thought, you know, uh, you really can't sleep properly. And that happens because your thought process is very unstructured. You feel that, okay, fine, I have maybe one kid, that's okay, I'll earn money for him so that he can have a great life. But how do you make sure that he needs you? He is not looking for your money. How do you
Yeah.
make sure that he is looking for your hug? How are you
Yes.
sure that in future he'll be really really happy with all those money? You're not sure. So you really can't define life like this. So as an entrepreneur, it's necessary. It's for everyone. It's not for only entrepreneurs. It's necessary whether you are a working professional, you are earning a lot of money or not. It is very very important to communicate with your family members. It's called balance in life, and that only can happen if you have time for yourself. There's a fine line between you and yourself. So if you understand what is yourself, give time to that poor soul. It needs that. Okay, maybe once in a week, maybe once in a month, it doesn't matter, it depends on you. Okay, and please kindly don't give me a reply that you don't have time. Then you are a very bad person who don't understand how to manage time. It never happens in life that you don't have time. Every person do have their own kind of time. Sometimes we feel that to understand how to manage it, and that's where the whole problem starts, right? And when you feel that, okay, fine, this is the amount of money that I need to sustain, this is the amount of money that I need to maintain my family, this is the amount of money which is required to run my organization, uh, and if you feel that you are at peace, you can understand that, okay, fine, I will sustain myself, calm down a little bit, and share my thought process with some people. Again, the same line, Tina, is like, do you have your right kind of partner with you or not? It can be your wife, it can be your husband, it can be your business partner, it can be your friend, it can be an unknown one. I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay, try to share it, and never ever keep something inside which you feel that oh my god, I can't share it with the world. Well, come on, man. Even Hitler can share things to the world. So who are you? Even Swami Vivekananda can share things, his personal life, his personal assets with the whole world. So who are you? So never ever stop sharing. If you have something in your mind, you have your social media, you have your blog, write it down over there. Don't care about who is reading or who is not. Don't care that what people will say, what people will think. People will be people. Please understand this. Never ever treat your life for people.
Yeah.
Treat your life for yourself. Trust me, believe me, there will be people, there will be a group, there will be an aura who will automatically give you a lift. Okay, it happens to every one of us. Every one of us. Never expect you be loved by, if I consider the whole world with 100 people, never feel that you'll be loved by 100 people. Okay, it might happen you'll be loved by only one single guy in the entire world. That's it. That's your net worth. Okay, you don't need 10,000 followers in your social media, and none where you can actually cry, where you can actually share.
True, 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 true. Absolutely. I really loved reading this blog. You are a person who is this, you cover the entire gamut of life. Today, when you were talking about entrepreneurship, and then you started talking about net worths and how a person should feel worthy of one's own self, and about talking. You are again talking about one very important factor that we hardly talk about, and that is depression and mental health. You have spoken in your own words, you've spoken that we need to talk to somebody, and that is what we don't do. And you are saying it in such simple words that we need to talk to our family, we need to talk to our friends and the closest person that we are with about what is going in through us. We need to share. These are such lovely things. I have another thing that I'd written down, and I really thought I'd share this with you and the viewers. You are not the usual startup mentor. That is what you speak about yourself. You're not the usual startup mentor, but you have been helping startups across the globe. I have been noticing that you have been doing webinars, and you've been doing seminars, and you've been all over social media. You've been helping people in Italy and France and Austria and God knows where, all across the globe. I mean, how do you do that? Please share some of this with us. How do you do this? How do you help these people, these startups?
Well, frankly speaking, I saw maybe it might hurt a couple of guys, but honestly speaking, I don't care. There are multiple number of motivational speakers in the market who call themselves as a startup mentor. Startup mentoring is not about giving some amount of small lecture about what to do, what not to do. Mentoring means to, in practical, in real life, handhold them, give them business, give them access to the market, give them access to the, maybe it can be investor, it can be their customer, and help them grow from the level that they are to some extent. Well, I saw multiple number of people who are maybe utilizing the social media, giving some amount of great gyans, like what to, how to dress and how to talk, how to speak. Kudos to them. It is not required in startup world, honestly speaking. People will figure it out. I mean, in fact, if you ask me, I don't have any kind of shame of sharing this incident with you. I'll come back to your question after this incident. Well, I'm coming from a very different kind of background, Tina. So my family is like, my father, he's a corporate guy. My mom, she's a public prosecutor, and she wanted me to become a lawyer. My father, he wanted me to become a football player because my father used to play football, and I chose the path of starting on my own and helping people out. To be very honest, it's a very common middle class family. We explored five-star earlier, but not in that extent. So in one incident, I still remember that part. It was some club, I don't remember, I think around 18 years back or so. I was early 19, okay? And it was like starting my own business for 2 years or something like that. I used to be slim like anything, okay? Like this, okay?
You're still fit as a fiddle.
I'll come to that. Well, and then I went there, and there was a dinner party. I never realized that I'm taking the dessert with the main course on the same plate. Okay, so I think I had pasta with some I don't remember that dessert, maybe some sweet dish, whatever. But I took everything on the plate, and I started having it. Okay, just like the way I used to eat in my house. Okay, that's not a culture over there. I understood that slowly. People started laughing at me. Okay, what this guy is doing? His attire is different. He's with some odd suit, this slim, and having such kind of way of having foods and all. I realized that, okay, fine, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Then I realized, okay, I'm having this with the male course. The main course is fine. Sweets are also fine. So why people are laughing at it? What's wrong in it? I was dumb enough to ask someone, am I doing something wrong? So that fellow eventually became my friend. But on that particular point, he told me that, you know what, for dessert we have a different plate. You should finish your meal and then you should go for the dessert. I didn't know that. So people started laughing at me. I said, okay, fine, maybe this is the culture. Okay, that's great. And then slowly I started realizing in life there will be multiple number of people who will start laughing at you. I said, okay, great. So when I started talking about I'm a technology company, I'm doing something on products, people started disbelieving me. It was, I think, in 2001, 2002, 2003. Till that time, people are thinking, this guy is doing animation. Man, I was doing gaming. Animation is different, gaming is different. But I was unable to sell myself. It was my problem. It was not their problem. So I understood I really can't do anything worthwhile for the market until unless I become somebody. So it is important in life, if you have to do something, you need to think it from a different perspective. So I went back. I thought, what went wrong? What was my problem? A, I'm skinny. B, well, I'm not fair enough. Okay. C, I can't speak properly. I used to be introvert. D, well, I don't know how to eat food. Well, fine. So I need to recover from these four parts. So what I did, I started eating from different variety of food from different part of India. On that time, it was not possible for me to go out of India and then consume the out of India foods and all. And I started using chopsticks at home. Okay, and I started using all the possible forks, spoon, different spoons, all the possible stuff. So whenever I made money, I go to market, bring a new kind of plate, new kind of fork, new kind of stuffs at home, and I started consuming things and all. Believe me or not, I started eating rice, which is not a sticky rice. Okay, sticky rice is easy to eat with chopsticks.
Yes.
I started eating normal rice, which is our normal Bengali food. We call it as bhat. I started eating bhat with those chopsticks.
Wow.
And eventually, when I went back to those community, now it's got a shock for them. This guy, my God, started eating rice with chopstick. So the laughing faces became different. Now they are asking, have you taken some amount of course? I mean, are you from the hospitality industry? What do you do? The second part, the skinny part. I used to be very skinny because I used to do martial arts. I used to do a lot of, exercise and all. I understand. Okay, fine. In India, if you have a, either a big belly or, something like that, fatty body, people will treat you that, okay, fine, he's doing business. Well, I didn't do that, but yes, what I did, I started gaining mass. I started reading those kind of blogs, and then slowly I started talking to people who are specialized into these fields. Not as a consultant, to be very honest, Tinath. I met one guy, to be very honest, he started in Goa. So I met one fellow in Goa. He was huge, like excellent body, well built. And I just finished my swimming and I saw that fellow. He was doing some amount of yoga. We had a chat and I told him that you're doing something wrong. This pose is supposed to be like this. I started teaching him. And he asked me that are you an Indian? Oh, by the way, he was not a Indian actually. He was from UK. I said, yeah. So he asked me that, can you teach me on something on spirituality? I said, yeah, I can try because I used to be a Sanskrit. I shouldn't say scholar, but yeah, I kind of know Sanskrit bit of. So we started talking with each other. We started sharing our thought process. And then I asked him that if I teach you something on this part of life, which is spirituality, yoga and all, could you please kind enough to teach me on how to gain muscles, how to become, how to have body lines like you? He said, okay, fine, I'll give you a couple of tips. You see why I'm sharing it with you? People often fear to ask. There is a saying in old Bengali, very old Bengali. It's like maybe the language doesn't work like this nowadays. It goes like this: "Bhoy korle bhoy, handai dile bhoy ki." Am I taking too much of time? Your voice is gone.
No, no,
I can't hear you. Or it's mute.
no. I asked my son to get my battery bank. I need
Okay.
the battery for my iPad.
Okay.
Yes.
So people usually fear a lot about asking. So when you have that kind of line in Bengali, I was talking about that Bengali line. Bhoy korlei bhoy, handai dile bhoy ki. The meaning is, if you fear, right, you can't do anything. But if you feel that, let's do it, what will happen? That's the kind of approach you need in your life. What will happen?
True.
If you need something from someone, from some person, what will happen if you ask for some help? If you need something, spell it out. It's fine. If you don't know anything, you say that I don't know this. Teach me. People will love to teach you. But you need to understand where you are asking. Right?
True.
Does that answer your question, or I went to a different direction?
Yes. No, I was asking you that, you have been all over the world.
I'm so sorry.
You've been all over the world, mentoring other startups. That's what my question was, that how do you do it? Like, you say you are not a usual startup mentor. You're not a usual startup mentor. That's what you have projected yourself to be. But then you have been mentoring people from all kinds of different countries. And I've noticed that on social media. And they've been very happy with the results. You have been saying, oh, it was wonderful talking to this person and that person from Austria, from Italy, from all across the globe. How do you do that?
Well, to be very honest, it's opposite. So like they approach me. I never ever approach anybody to mentor them. It happens for, I mean, quite a decent reason. One of the reason is Um, I've been helping people a lot, at least to start their own venture, pretty well connected with the ecosystem. And whenever you see any kind of European person, or maybe one of the person who is from Asia, they love to understand things. They love to learn. They love to listen, and they love to follow that. On the same line, how do I do this is pretty simple. I try to understand their local language. So if I'm, uh, let's take an example. If you are a Russian lady, Tinath, okay,
Right.
I'm not going to greet you in English. I'm going to greet you with Privyet Kagdila. Okay. So Privyet, the meaning is hello or hi. Kagdila means how are you? That
Okay.
actually starts, that actually starts your own neighborhood origin. Okay. So when you learn different language, you communicate with them with their kind of understanding. And when you listen to them, mentoring uh, people from out of India is pretty tough. I shouldn't say it's easy. They are pretty well educated. They understand the market. They are not like others that they will be asking very simple question. They will be asking you a lot of question. So the main trick is actually you become a knowledge hub. The way I did it, to be very specific, the way I did it is like I read a lot. I listen to a lot of people. Uh, so my day goes like this. I usually sleep for 6 hours, very decent amount of hours, so that I can become fit. Coming back to that point, why you have to be fit? Because you have to work more, you have to do more. So if you don't take care of your own body, how do you expect that you can do more? You can't. And then I read a lot. I at least read 4 to 5 hours in a day while I'm working. So you have to understand how to do multitasking. So when you say, for an example, you are in a meeting, you are communicating with someone, you are talking with someone, and on the same time, if you can read something in between the break, do that. Read anything, whatever it comes. Read a magazine. I mean, bloody hell, you read a normal newspaper. Go up. I mean, you can read a packet. I mean, maybe it can be your stationery goods. Forget
Yes.
about that. Read everything. Read everything. I mean, trust me, it will help you a lot. And try to understand foreign language. English is not the only language which will give you the flexibility. Try to understand few bit of maybe our own mother language. If you learn Sanskrit, it will be easier to understand German language. It will be easier for you to understand Spanish and French. If you understand Russian, it will be easier to understand the Ukrainian as well as a couple of Nordic languages. I mean, do
Wow.
that. That's one of the trick, I should say.
Okay, wow. I mean, I could just go on talking to you for hours, Arijit. But we have a question from one of our viewers, and this is actually being streamed live on Facebook right now by our team from Freebirds. Reep Jyoti is doing all this right now. He's in the back end, and he's been doing all this. So there's one question wants to know one of the viewers wants to know how to evaluate their own company and how to do their own company's valuation, how to evaluate their own company.
So it cannot be both way, I guess. Like, I cannot ask the gentleman that why he is looking for the valuation part. Maybe he is looking for raising money, and that's the core reason. So all went wherein people actually wanted to raise money rather than building the company. To be very honest, creating a valuation, company's valuation, can happen on a piece of paper. It cannot happen until unless you have a traction. I cannot give you an answer until unless I know your turnover. Well, it's a pre-money valuation and post-money valuation. So if you have got some amount of sales, existing customer, not the user, existing customer, and the future projection of your venture, how difficult for others to replicate it. If you calculate all those kind of factors, you can get your valuation.
Wow, nice. I mean, and then, as we come towards the end of our thing, but I still want to ask you, like, for first timers like me, suppose I want to become an entrepreneur. So what advice would you give people like me who's like, who wants to start off? I know you said in the very beginning that entrepreneurs and startups and all these things are different. business is all different. But I want to become an entrepreneur. Say, so how would you advise me? What advice would you give me regarding finances, regarding an idea and everything? I'm talking on behalf of my viewers. Maybe there's somebody like me out there who wants to ask this question.
Well, then I need to understand what is your specialty. I mean, what is your USP? What is your unique selling point? If you
Okay.
can give me some amount of light on that, it will be easier for me to answer. But yes, I'll take that question in.
I make a lot of handmade products.
Super. So
Yes.
the easiest possible solution for people who are making handicrafts is creating the community. It's not about making an e-commerce portal, right?
Okay.
Try to communicate with people on the same line. So this is 2020. Come on, you have got social media, right? You can get multiple number of groups. Okay, try to start a very simple Facebook page with all your crafts picture with proper hashtag and ask people to join that.
Okay.
Try to encourage them. Okay, try to get those amount of people who are in the same line. For an example, into your crafts line, maybe you can do amazing stuff with paper. You take people who can do amazing stuff with copper. Okay, you take people on board who are doing awesome stuff with maybe woods, right? So what will happen, you start creating those kind of creative stuff, communicate, build a community. Within that community, I'm sure you're going to get 30 to 40 people who will become your teammate. Okay, so when it's a collaborative approach, then you float a company and then create a website and certainly go for a very simple, specific, basic scale up registration process. So there are organizations who help to grow one company from level 1 to level 2. It's not about the event, rather they will give you the right kind of partner. They will find right kind of partner for you in a particular, maybe a state, maybe a country. Handshake with them. Okay, you can grow faster than anything. Try to communicate with, if it is crafts honestly speaking, try to communicate with people who are giving maybe corporate gifting. Okay, approach them, tell them you don't have only the paper handicraft, you have 40 different crafts with you, and it's not about only you. You have 40 different people or maybe a community of people, and this is your brochure. If they are looking for corporate gifting, if they are looking for normal gifting, they can buy it from you. Try to make a margin life of maximum 2 to 3% as a profit margin initially, and always try to go for small deal. That helps a lot. When you make money, try to share it with all the teammates. Let them become your marketing channel. Ask them to put those news as a maybe as a testimonial in multiple social media. Create a very common hashtag for all of you, okay, so that it becomes trend, and use that same trend into all the possible social media: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Okay, make it common and ask people to share it. And if you have handicrafts, I'm sure you are in touch with a couple of photographers. Ask them, within their photography, can they include maybe some junk jewelry stuff within their shooting or not? And can you ask them to put it a very small tagline powered by your company name, and whenever they post, cross tag you? That's how you build a good number of consumer base and user base. So now you're in a good position to calculate your, I mean, the friends is asking about the valuation. Now you are good to give an answer about your valuation. You have got maybe, I'm not sure, maybe 50,000 users and maybe 5,000 paid customer. Irrespective of the fact, whatever is your profit margin, it can be 1 rupees as well, it doesn't matter. But if you are in volume game, 5,000 people means you're making a good amount of money of 5,000 rupees per month basis. Okay, that's your profit, right? So as a startup, that's not a bad starting. If you want to grow that business, then you need a e-commerce portal. If you want to grow that business, then you need someone who can do export of your products. Okay, so there are firms. See, If you're going for handicrafts, there is a big need in Middle East. There is a big need in Australia. There is a big need in Russia. If you are a prototype maker, I'm not sure about your crafts venture exactly, but yes, if it is maybe very unique and they have got a shelf life of maybe 6 months to 1 year, those kind of products pipeline can very well, jolly well go with the supermarket owners association.
Okay.
Don't try to create a deal with individual shop owners only. Try to approach the the associations. Tell them that you have got these kind of products. Can they incorporate your product into their shops? I mean, those individual shops. What will happen? You get a space, A. B, you get new address. C, you can tell people to the world that your product is there in so and so shops. And if you're purchasing from that shop, you can get X amount of discount. And if you're using maybe a discount code, you can get more discount. People love discount. So try to create those kind of structure. Okay.
Wow.
If that helps.
Nice. Okay. The viewer says thank you. I just got a message just now. The viewer says thank you to you for the answer. In fact, the answer that he got. Okay. Arijit, you have said such wonderful things. All said and done. Can I share your email? Suppose somebody wants to contact you, somebody wants to get some angel investment or some advice or some sort of help. Is it possible to give your email, share your email anywhere?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Your number, I'm not talking about sharing your number,
Sure, no problem. No
but your
problem.
email, maybe your
Sure,
email.
sure.
Yes.
So nowadays, actually, what I encourage is go to my website and
Okay.
specific
Yes.
form. There is a specific form so that my team can understand that why they are looking for mentorship and what kind of mentorship they are looking for. So
I think that's a better idea.
yeah, so there's a
That's
specific
better.
team. So it's a very small 2 people team to
Okay.
manage me.
All right.
I'm managing well.
All right. So I'm going to share your website with them.
Sure,
So
please.
they can go into the form and do the needful if they want to, kind of get any help from you. So one last up, that all said and done, you have given us a wonderful evening today, but all said and done, during this COVID times, and you say that we are going to stay like this for another 2 years, do you still advise that we should go into startups and business and entrepreneurship and everything? Do we still need to invest in? But you said another very, very crucial thing is that, so what? We should not fear and we should go ahead. Without fear, we should go ahead. That is one thing I remember you said it, and that's inside me now. That's inside my head, inside my heart. So please tell us, and we could complete this then.
Of course, life cannot be stopped, and the real challenge actually starts now. It's not about during the lockdown time. I mean, India didn't have a lockdown time, honestly speaking. But when market is opening right at the moment, the fear is right now is getting infected by the COVID-19. It depends on your immunity level. So certainly, you need to move with proper care, proper prevention. Mask, I'm not sure whether it will help you or not. Those are all pollution masks. Sorry, but that's a hardcore fact. People often feel that I'm wearing a mask, so I'm safe. It's not. It's all about your immunity level. I'll encourage people to increase their inner strength, eat a lot of vitamin C, have a good amount of zinc in your body, try to do exercise, try to grab more protein. Protein doesn't mean you have to have animals. It can happen from plants, and that's the best way to have protein, honestly speaking. Get a good amount of fat and protein combination in your body. It will be helpful. Don't get a cold, and certainly to do business, well, there is a risk. Take that risk, go out, it doesn't matter. I mean, you will be fine. And think in your inside soul that you're not going to be infected by any kind of disease, and you'll be safe.
Wow. Wow. This has been a fantastic evening. Arijit Bhattacharya, thank you. Thank you so much. You have given us such a huge insight into entrepreneurship, into business, into startups. And I'm going to share your website with the rest of with our viewers and with whoever comes across, so that you can help. You have been sharing your life, and that is what makes you so magnanimous, so huge, and you have grown, and that is why you're known all across the world. Thank you, Arijit Bhattacharyya. You have been a blessing for my program. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That is mine.
And have a great night ahead, and have a great week ahead. And for my viewers, thank you once again for being with us. We are going to bring you more of Arijit, because he has got more things to share with us. And especially, I'm more interested in his virtual infocom. And so we're going to bring him back again, and he's going to talk more about it. Thank you, Arijit, and thank you, viewers.
Pleasure. Thank you.